Hey, thanks for tuning into the Muse Report. I'm Clee Davis, and I'm just a normal guy trying to fulfill his dreams and ambitions. I'm pretty sure we have lots in common, and we're on the same road, so you might as well join me on my journey of turning my muse into a reality. Let's go!
My Muse Report family, it's your host, Cleavon Davis, and this is the last episode of the Muse Report for the year 2017. I am super excited for this episode because I have special guest Ryan Gordon with me, a fellow podcaster, and he's basically going to be my co-host in this episode. And we discussed the art of closing out one year and opening up another, along with the other few things. So just buckle up your seatbelts. Hopefully you enjoyed the discussion. Also, to stay updated on all things the Muse Report, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @IM_Clee Davis. And I will also be making a new account strictly for the podcast, which was encouraged for me to do in this episode, actually. So keep your ears open for the debut in 2018. You can follow my guest co-host podcast at IDKWID podcast on IG and Twitter. That's enough of the preliminary stuff. Let's get to the good stuff. Here we go.
You don't have to. It'll be fine. Start over.
Alright.
Episode. I said I was going to start saying the numbers of episodes.
Why? I heard you say that.
Because I always get it wrong. Like,
me too. I used to get it wrong too.
it's not even like I have a whole bunch of episodes.
Right.
It's like,
You
I
got
don't
like
know why
7.
I'm getting the number wrong. Because I kind of messed myself up because I did like an intro episode explaining like the point of the podcast.
Yeah, listen to that.
Which was like episode 1, but wasn't episode 1.
It was like episode 0 kind of.
Right, episode 0.
Right.
So
This is like, what is this, like 8, 9?
this is,
It's like 8.
according to what will appear on Apple Podcasts, it would be episode 11.
Episode 11.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it
What's that?
counted, honestly though, I think it's really like 9 or
Wait.
10.
What? How'd you get 2 extra?
I don't know. Like, it just,
My bad.
it just popped up. Like, I have the one episode that's 0, which it counts as 1. So that's like an extra 1.
Yeah.
And then like it gave like another number. I don't know. I don't know how that happened. But it should be like literally like actually like episode 9 or 10.
Okay, that's where I stopped. I think I
Yeah.
stopped at like 9.
So this will be our New Year's episode,
Awesome.
kind of.
End of the year recap.
End of the year recap,
Looking forward.
looking into the future, right?
Yeah.
So I have with me Ryan Gordon, the creative videographer, photographer, podcaster as well. Good guy. In fact, we went to the same high school. I don't even
We
know if
did.
you-
I don't think it was at the same time though.
It wasn't at the same time.
wasn't.
Yeah, you left in like what, 2010?
2010.
I came in like 2011. So
Alright, so are you 2013? 14?
I'm 2015.
You're 2015?
Yeah.
That's wild. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
2015.
I'm old.
Yeah, man.
Wow, so
Yeah, you're 2016, right? Oh, 2017. Okay.
you're 2017?
Man,
Really?
Years
You're
ago by, man.
Because you just graduated. Yeah, that's right. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm old. So you don't even know Mr. Niles.
I do know Mr. Niles, yeah.
Wait, how
I
do
had
you
him for like 2
Oh,
years.
because you came in. That's when you came in. Yeah, okay.
I think he left in 2013, so I was already there for like 2 years.
Yeah, you got married and had a baby.
Yeah, I love Mr. Niles. For the most part. But yeah, so we kind of collabing on this episode. We're both from the DMV, Maryland area.
Yeah.
So, I was like, same circle pretty much. What the heck?
Alright.
Think it'd be a good idea. So,
Do something.
anything you
I mean, I guess I could introduce you because this is the
like both of our episodes, you know.
yeah, this is the reboot of the IDKWID podcast. That's what I do. Started that months ago, but fell off just because stuff falls off. Like anything else.
Life happens.
But thanks to Mr. Cleavon, he showed me that it doesn't have to be too complicated to get some audio. Because right now I'm wearing a lavalier mic and he's recording.
Super simple setup. Like anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Literally.
So this is good to know. Yeah, so you went to Pine Forge, as you said. Mm-hmm. Graduated 2015.
2015.
Played on the basketball team.
I did play on the basketball team for 3 years varsity.
Did you do USM?
I did. My sophomore year, I was USM Academic Vice.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were into school.
I was kind of. There's a difference. See, you could either be like really into school or you could just be really good at school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were you?
I think I was just good at school.
Really?
I figured out the system and was able to get good grades.
Nice. You finessed.
Finesse,
That's
man.
what we call finesse.
Finesse game,
Yes.
honestly.
It's
Not
very easy
extremely
to
smart. Nah, just knew how to get good grades. Two
Nice.
different things. But yeah, and then like my junior year, I was class president, and my senior year I was class president.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Nice.
those were interesting times too.
Who are your campus parents?
My campus parents changed a lot because my freshman year they were seniors. So my first campus parents were Justin Robinson and dang, I forgot her last name. Ashante.
Oh yeah, Alan.
Ashante Allen.
Okay.
Those are my campus parents.
I can
That
see
was
that.
an interesting time.
Nice. And then a switch to.
And then
Who's your 2013 parents?
what happened? My 2013 parents was Nate Duran.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
who's his wife?
and Danny Francis. Yeah.
I didn't know they were. I guess because I see her with Kevin. Like that's her actual. boyfriend.
Yeah, that's like her actual husband. Yeah. So yeah, and then like after that, I don't think I had campus parents anymore because I was like upperclassman and I started getting kids and stuff. Like,
So you were just an independent woman. It's like that.
I was a single father though.
For real?
I was like I did not have a wife because my original campus wife didn't come back.
Oh,
Yeah.
So she just kind of abandoned you.
She did abandon me and left me to hold it down. You know, so
That's wild. I had like 12 kids, like a wife, baby mama, and a mistress. Like, it was just, I had like a whole roster of children. I did. It was, I mean, the only one I would say I'm closest to now, well, not even in terms of like keeping up with, but like that still would call me like father, was like Claudia.
okay.
Yeah, so that was my daughter. Sean was like my stepson. He's my ex-son.
Your ex stepson.
Yes, because
Twice removed.
Robbie Patterson took him
Okay.
from me. And then like KO was my son. A student named K. Sean. I don't know if you knew K. Sean.
Okay, Sean. Nah, I don't think so.
I think he does before he got there. And like some other kids, I don't even remember. That's like 3 of 12? Yeah, so.
Yeah, man. You kind of don't know what we're saying. None of these are our real kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say. We should get a little background.
So both Ryan and I went to a boarding academy in Pennsylvania. And it was all black, pretty much. And yeah, it's just an experience that you probably can't find anywhere else in the country.
You will not.
So there's like this tradition there where you adopt children as like you mentor them, I guess, help them out. All the other things that come with parenting, you know.
Yeah. Date them.
Yeah,
That happens too.
that does happen.
Anyway.
But yeah, it's actually a pretty cool process tradition that's been going on for a long time and kind of carried over. Not really. Never mind.
What?
I was gonna say to Oakwood, but not really. Yeah, it kind of faded out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what we're talking about. So we don't have kids running around all over the place that we have forgotten about.
Yeah.
We are both men that don't have kids. I was gonna just say, never mind.
Yeah.
All right, so
what are we talking about today?
We're talking about going into the new year, and during this time, everyone seems to be doing the same things. I just saw like 2 pretty hilarious posts by Kev on stage, talking about how can you be cutting people off every single year?
Oh, yeah.
Like, how many people do you really have like
that you associate with?
That you got to cut them off? And he was also talking about like how like people are like they've had the worst year ever every year.
Right.
Like, really? Since
Can't be that bad.
since MySpace?
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny. And then the other one, Kevon Carter, He's really funny too. He did like this whole song, posted it about how like the real problem was everybody else. It was like you. It was actually pretty deep. It was funny because it's comedy, but like the song was actually really deep.
It's real.
It's real. Like,
It may not be
look
other
at yourself,
people.
man. But yeah, everyone's like, all right, New Year, new me, New Year's resolutions, cutting people off season. And I guess we're gonna talk about like, you know, what that's all about.
All right.
So
I'm with it.
I do New Year's resolutions.
Okay.
Kinda.
Kinda.
I don't go like, I want to have my own like industry business by the end of like
Right,
the
yeah.
year.
Right.
But
Small,
you know, like
achievable goals.
I'm gonna start working out consistently, like type of goals. So, but I also do believe that like from years of experience doing these resolutions, most of which are over by the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah. Sure.
That it doesn't really work. There's a process, I think, that needs to be done to it. So like what I'm seeing is more so, instead of setting a goal to start in 2018 or whatever year you're going into, you pretty much start that goal. What I think will work better, or what I've seen work better, is like, okay, 2017, I've been putting in this work, right?
Yeah.
I think like, okay, you could say 2018, I'm ready to start like reaping some benefits.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like getting the fruits of your labor, and not like starting the labor and expecting everything to be like sweet
Exactly.
for that year. It doesn't work like that.
Exactly.
So, question, do you think New Year's resolutions are overrated? Or like, do you think that they're good, bad, detrimental, helpful? I mean,
Yeah. I think they're notable. Like
notable?
yeah, they're a good idea.
Oh, good. Okay.
But like for me, I've learned that if I have an idea to change something, like setting a date to change is like a terrible idea. Like if you recognize that there's an issue, don't wait 2, 3, 4 weeks
Right.
to change. Like do it right
Do it right then,
You know
right?
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna have all the answers immediately, but I posted a tweet on Twitter and I was like, next year, 2018 is a year of me focusing on myself, like intentionally making myself happy, not overextending myself, and really focusing on me.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the tweet, I was like, but that starts like today. Like I'm not gonna keep being a pushover for the rest of the year, and then on January 1st, everything changes. Like I'm doing
Right.
stuff now, so. Like,
Let it carry over.
yeah, like one of the next conversations I had, someone asked me to do something, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that.
No. Yeah.
Like, the old Ryan last week would be like, yeah, sure. I don't really want to
This
do
is
what
the
I'm doing.
new Ryan.
Right, but the new Ryan, it's like, no, I don't want to do that. And they're usually like, okay. And I
Yeah.
think we, at least for that particular instance, like, I used to have a hard time saying no because I thought I would be disappointing someone.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people, like, they understand. Like, people just ask because they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to do it, they can't get mad because they don't want to do it either.
Exactly.
But they have to figure it out because it's not your issue. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, overall, resolutions are, yeah, they're cool, but you know,
Yeah.
start immediately.
I do like these little voiceover things on
I was
Instagram.
going to ask you about that.
Yeah, and that really started like in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw this guy who did him, John Hunt, I think is his name,
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram. Dude's hilarious voiceovers, and he recommended the app, so I was just playing around with the app, and I just started doing them. And then like one night I was really bored and just really started like doing them.
Yeah, you do a lot of them.
Yeah. So like I did one where it was just like this monkey saying no. Like guy was asking him like different questions. He was just like no. And like I was like, yo, mood, honestly.
That's it.
Cause people
People will run you dry
dude,
and not think twice about it.
not think twice about it. And like you're the one that's stuck with all the bull at the end.
Exactly.
So it's just like, yeah, I mean, know when to say no, know when to say yes. But honestly, don't feel obligated to do anything for anybody. You said something that, go ahead if you're about to say
No, I was
something.
gonna say another thing is like don't bite off more than you can chew. Because like another thing I would say yes to something, thinking that I could handle that amongst other things, or like take on this ginormous task. And it's like, don't even put yourself in that situation, because then you accept it, and people are relying on you to do this big thing. And if you know from jump that you can't commit to that, then why are you going to put yourself there?
That's interesting though, because like I feel like there should be like a fine line though, because like you don't want to say no to too many things. Like I did this a lot because I started playing bass like sometime in high school, like sophomore year I think. And like I would come home, like my mom tells people literally everything about my life. They know more about me than I know about me.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, we heard you play bass, like when are we gonna hear you play and everything? I was just like, oh yeah, I'm not really all that good yet. I'm just starting, like, you guys don't want to hear me, like, blah blah. Oh, you should play for church. I'm like, I'm not there yet, whatever.
Yeah.
This continued for like maybe like 3 years of me just like putting it off. Like I wasn't trying to, like, I was scared like of not being good enough or just getting trashed.
Yeah.
So I was putting it off, and then finally, like, I got like an opportunity to play here somewhere. It wasn't at my church, but I was just like, I said yeah. Like the person asked me, like, yeah, I heard you play bass, blah blah. Honestly, did not think I was ready for it, whatever.
And you're just like, okay.
And I was just like, all right.
Yeah.
But like what I did, like it really like pushed me to, because before I just always did everything that I was comfortable with.
Right. Yeah.
And like I stayed like at that mediocre, comfortable level. And when I said yes to this, I was like, yo, I'm not about to like embarrass myself in front of these people. So, like I was practicing for like hours.
You gotta get ready.
But yeah. So like I was just like, but it pushed me like to a new level. So like sometimes when you take on tasks that you know, like even if you're not ready for it, it like pushes you to a new limit of yourself. But also you don't want to like overdo yourself. So I feel like it's the point of knowing, am I pushing myself to my next limit, or am I just like, I know I'm completely incapable of doing this thing, or it's taken away from things that are more of a priority. Right. I think that's more what it is.
Yes, I think that's what I was referring to, because I totally agree that you should put yourself in a situation that you're uncomfortable with, because it'll only foster like growth.
Right.
Like it's one thing where you think you can't do it, but realistically you can. It's just something that's uncomfortable versus like you really can't do that, like, because it's too much. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot on your plate, so. I think the fine line point was correct in that front, but I want to next year as well. I want to start taking on some new things and just trying new things and seeing what'll come from that. Because I feel like where I'm at now, it's like I feel like I'm above average at a lot of things, but until I like go out and try some new things and really figure out what the niche is, then I gotta keep trying stuff.
That's the thing. I feel like it's a curse that I've been given, which is also kind of cool. But I just think I'm good at a lot of things.
Yeah, same.
Like I could just start doing things and be pretty decent at it. Yeah. But like I hate being mediocre at a whole bunch of things. Like I want to be like really good,
like a master at something.
At something. Like some people are gifted, like they're just trash at everything. But like they're really good at that. They have no choice. Like that's what they do. Yeah. But for people that could like put their feet in like different things and get away with it, like be able to hang tough, it's hard because like
you get comfortable with that.
You get comfortable,
so
right?
I can get by.
You also said something. I should have wrote it down. That you actually said the actual phrase that's on my paper. You said 2018 will be the year of
growth.
Was it growth? I can't. I was trying to get it, but you were on a really good. But
intentionally loving yourself.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but she took the phrase right off the paper because that's the next question. 2018 for you will be the year of.
Well, I guess for me, I'm just gonna say intentionality. Like really taking steps towards my happiness, my maturation, towards my goals, whatever those might be. I don't have any right now. And towards growth, like just towards change. Like you get really comfortable with yourself, and it's not until you are really putting in practice for what you are good at, you know what I'm saying, to see how far you can go, and you'll see like a difference.
Yeah.
I
think for me, intentionality was good. For me, I would just say this would be the year of experiences.
Oh,
I
you're 20?
think not even 19.
You're 19?
About to turn 20.
Wow. Yeah. Go do stuff.
Like, just doing stuff. Like, it kind of started in 2017. Like, the reason why I started this podcast, I was just like, all right, like, I'm a thinker, so I think a lot, like, all the time. Sometimes I literally just sit in my room. I'm not watching TV. I'm not on my phone. I just sit there and think, and like sometimes write stuff down. But like, I was like, all right, bro, like, you're really, really good at this thinking thing, but that doesn't.
What does that do?
It doesn't do anything.
Without
doesn't
action.
do anything. Action, right? So like, one day I was just listening to a podcast. And I was like, you know what? I love podcasts. I can make a podcast.
Exactly.
So I literally made a podcast that day, and it turned out to be something that I really enjoyed doing. So I was just like, whoa, like, just taking that first step, like, that's what it's all about. So just taking action, and then I just wanted to lead in this year to experiences I wouldn't have had before if I didn't take that first step. So also, I mean, this is kind of contradictory, but even though 2018 I said would be like the year of no's, like, just not over stepping like what you're capable of as far as workload. But it also should be, I think, the year of yes, like, you know.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Exactly. Like, hey, man, like, do you want to, like, go to this place to do this certain gig?
Yeah.
You'd be like, normally I wouldn't think I'm ready for this, but, you know, why not? I'm going to go, because you just never know. Like, you don't know who you're going to meet when you go there. Like, it could be something that just leads to something that's completely unconnected that you never would have had if you didn't go. So, like,
That's real, man.
year of yes, but year of experiences as well. For me.
That's what I was trying to tell you yesterday. For those who don't know, I work with another podcast called the All the Fly Kids Show.
Shout out to all the Fly Kids.
Shout out to all the Fly Kids. They record at the New Line Hotel in Adams Morgan, D.C. And with that show, with that cast of people that I work with, I've learned that when someone tells you to go somewhere, particularly someone who has a wealth of knowledge and experience, like leaps and bounds ahead of where you've ever been, like, just pull up.
Yeah.
Like, show up. Because they'll probably introduce you to somebody, you'll meet somebody, that experience will turn into an opportunity, and that leads to places you never thought that you'd ever go. Because even working with the podcast, I had never thought anything about radio or anything like that, and I started with these guys in, I think it was Impact Hub, this co-working space in DC. Yeah, we've finessed away in there for free, and now we're at this fancy hotel where we don't have to edit anything.
Hotel is dope, by the way.
Yeah, the hotel is
super
amazing.
dope.
Shout out to the Line Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. And now we don't have to edit or anything like that, or flip equipment around and fumble around and stuff like that. All we do is record, and we can worry about other things, like how to get funding now, like how to get sponsors and stuff like that. But that's from just showing up to these different places and meeting people and shaking hands, taking pictures, all that stuff, and, you know, stuff happens. So I think that's good that you want to just do new stuff and that you're learning that right now, because a lot of people your age, like, I know when I was your age, like, I was just comfortable playing basketball and video games and not thinking about, like, my future and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
So,
just trying to get ahead of the curve.
Please.
The thing is, like, I mean, people are getting more and more ahead of the curve, I think, at younger ages, because of just the plethora of knowledge that's out there at your fingertips.
Right. You just watch and be like, I don't want to do that.
Right, exactly. Like, it's so, in fact, it's almost too much information. Like, you're just like, whoa, like, I want to do that, I want to do that. Oh, that looks cool. But, yeah, man, just trying to start early, just planning everything. Yeah. I'm a business major, so I'm into, like, you know, investing and finances, and, well, to some extent. I don't want to do that, like, as a living. That's kind of boring to me. Yeah. It's just counting numbers and balance sheets and all that stuff. But, you know, I feel like I'm a little bit, like, out of place in my department because I mean, now they're taking more of a entrepreneurial. They're actually, I think, incorporating an entrepreneur course
Really?
or curriculum starting next year.
Oh, that's good to know.
But you know, as far as the business department, it was very corporate.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, you're going to be an accountant, marketing consultant,
That's not what you want to
finance. Not what I wanted to. Honestly, if I'm going to be honest, I'm a business major right now because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So I was just like, business, like you could pretty much do anything with that. Like you could go anywhere. So I was just like, that's the broadest one. I'm going to go with that.
Right.
And then when I actually got into the department and started taking like business classes, I was like, well, okay, yeah, I really bangs with this. But like everyone else is kind of like, oh, I want to be in marketing, or I want to be an accountant, or even I want to be an entrepreneur. But I'm not really like, and I do want to be an entrepreneur to some extent, but I'm not like, oh, I'm about to start this hair product business and like blah blah. I'm like kind of just. I'm looking more towards just like being me. Like it's phenomenal. That's even like a fathomable concept.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
2017, that's actually like a thing. Or going into 2018, like wow, like you can get paid for being yourself. But yeah, like just like honestly, I'm gonna be vulnerable on this podcast.
Okay.
All right.
Let's break it down.
Seeing a new side of me, people.
Hey.
People who are listening, aka my mom. But I literally was like, all right, like I really don't know what I want to do. I keep like dipping my foot in like, oh, I'm like, yeah, this is cool, but as far as like a career, like I really want to excel, I don't know. So I was like, yo, God, like, what do you want me to do, right? And I swear, like, this is what he said.
Okay.
I think. He was like, I want you to be like the coolest Christian ever.
Okay.
I was just like, all right, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like, what?
What does that mean?
Yeah, like, what does that mean? Like, okay, you want me to be a Christian? I think I'm a Christian. But, like, he was just like, no, like, make it, like, a thing. Like the people could look at me and be like, wow, he's doing the right thing, and he's, like, being a boss at it. Like, he has swag with it, too.
Right, yeah.
And I was just like, is that even possible? Like,
That's dope.
I don't even know. But that's, like, the wave I'm on right now. I'm just like, well, I'm just trying to, like, do what I like to do. This podcast is kind of just me like asking questions, which I do all the time because I'm a thinker. And like if I have a question, pretty sure like a couple 100,000 people have the same question as I do. I'm going to get the answer. So that's what this is. And we'll just see where it goes. I'm not really sure.
I'm with it.
Trying to find mentors that are in this line, which is kind of hard to find. I find people who are close, but I don't know.
That's dope. Like, no, I'm saying because people get paid to just be like the face of something, or like they are their own brand. You know what I mean? And like, especially when you talk about like shoe companies and stuff like that, they always align themselves with like a person so that they can validate that they're cool. So I've never heard the whole cool Christian thing. Like I've seen people who are Christian, quotations, right? But it's always like in your face stuff, or like to the extreme, like Eric Thomas,
right?
And I don't even know if he's a Christian. Like
he is though. I think he is. I mean, he's a hip hop preacher. I don't know.
I think maybe because he like yells so much and is so aggressive. Like
I think he was actually at Oakwood not too long ago. I caught some of what he was saying on one of my podcasts.
It's great content.
But he was like just talking about his whole experience, and he referred to God a lot, and his whole experience with that. And he said something like how he like lays prostrate like every day, like
praying, gets up at 3 a.m,
and like prays and all that stuff. So I'm like, all right,
that's how he's successful, and
all that stuff. So I'm just like, but I mean,
well, what would being a cool Christian even look like? Have you thought about that?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I just think it's like
Was that his stomach?
I think so.
That's wild.
Well,
Anyway.
lunchtime?
Yeah.
But I guess just like it's like to a point where I was like, okay, this guy's like, it doesn't even have to be like in your face.
Right.
So it's just like, oh man, this guy's pretty dope. Like I want to follow him or whatever. And like okay, well, what does he do? Like, what's his science behind what he does? Like, oh wow, well, I guess he's a Christian. He's kind of mentioned God a lot.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, you know, most Christians aren't necessarily like cool.
Right, yeah.
But it's like, yo, like this dude's kick game is fly, like, but he also like shows that he's not materialistic or like he shows his values, like, you know, he doesn't go out doing drugs and
He's a good person.
and like he's a good guy.
Right.
And like he's actually still successful, which is kind of hard to see. Like most of the people who are really successful, like, you know, they're out, not saying that this stuff is wrong, but
Right, yeah.
you know, they're out partying every night. You know, you don't know what they're doing, what kind of things are in their bloodstream when you see them talking, like all that kinds of stuff. But like oh wow, like you could do it, like you could make it out there, hold your own in an environment where that's not like what is normal,
Right.
and like still be a boss at it,
Right.
type of thing. So I don't know. It's just like literally a vision. I have no idea whether it's like the right thing or whether it's just like a ways to something else. Or, but yeah, man.
I think that's a great idea. I was at church last week and the pastor was talking about how he wants to be able to walk in a room and people could just feel that the Holy Spirit is in him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I only met one person like that, Richard Martin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Great dude. Yeah.
And like, he's not in your face with it. It's just like, whenever he's around, it's just like, man, I gotta get my stuff together.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? You don't
like,
have to say nothing. You just look at him like, man, like,
dude.
And that's the type of energy I want to put off. So I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, he's not in your face. He's modest, dresses well, speaks well, intelligently, represents well, and just what happens to love God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's a great brand to have because people can identify with that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And like even just like reaching people who would normally never be reached, like people, I mean, like you could reach, you know, like we talk about like community outreach for, you know, people that are usually less fortunate or need help. But what about the people that are out there like that are successful? Like they need Jesus too.
Right, yeah.
So like just me pulling up to the scene is like, well, like something's different about this guy.
Right.
Type of thing. So, you know.
Right. Just get them to ask and you explain why you act the way that you do.
Yeah.
That'll get them thinking like, I want to be like that. And then, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean that's cool. The way I'm thinking is like, yeah, you need a logo, you need a name, you need an Instagram page. But I'm like, I don't even know if I
I want to brand it like that. Like,
yeah.
And I even thought about for like the podcast, I was like, all right, should I start a page for like the podcast? That was really like something I was like, so you know, get followership just for like that's the content that people want, that's what they'll get.
Right.
But I kind of just kept it on my personal thing. One, because I already had some followers, so it's just like a little bit easier. Yeah. But also like,
you gotta separate it though.
I don't know, bruh.
You have to.
I feel like I will, like if it grows to a point where it's like, okay, like these are the followers of the podcast, not necessarily me. If they want to check out who I am, they could go here.
So there, yeah.
But as far as right now, like, how many listeners do I get on average? Like, by the end of the week, I usually have maybe like 50 listens.
That's tight though.
So
that's a lot. I mean, for just starting, like that's a lot. Like that's a great idea. When I started, like immediately when I started, like we separated everything. So I have an Instagram, I have a Twitter.
Yeah.
SoundCloud, of course, for the feed to go into the Apple Podcasts and stuff like that. And I feel like separating the two will show that one, you're about your business, but when they see your other profile, they can see that you're human. But it'll be cool though because the persona you're trying to portray is like that you're a mixture of all that.
Right.
So
that's
then,
like, I'm kind of like, But I'm starting to lean toward kind of what you're saying. Especially when I was looking at my profile, I was just like, yeah, like, honestly, if they look here, like, it's gonna be like, okay, what is this guy doing? Like,
yeah, what does this mean?
What does this mean? Like, especially now with the voiceover things, it's just like, okay, I see a photo here. I see, like, an audiogram here.
Right, yeah.
I see a podcast promotion here. I see a animal talking here.
There's a lot
like,
going on.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, people usually, they tune in like, oh, he did a voiceover. I want to keep seeing those.
Right.
But then they see all this other stuff that they didn't ask for.
Exactly.
So it's just like,
maybe separate all three.
Separate all three, I don't know.
Get like Hootsuite and just separate it all. And,
yeah, it's a plan, man. I mean,
something to think about.
For all the creatives out there that have content they want to get out, I mean, this could be an on-running question. What do you think?
Yeah.
Like, should you separate it, or should you just like this is me, take all of it in?
Exactly. I think once you get to a certain point, then it could be like, this is just me. Like, just follow me for me. But like in the beginning, I think it's important to separate it. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have all the answers. But you know, I think you have something here.
Hopefully, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if I could just get through to just like one person each episode.
Oh yeah.
That's all I want, for real.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on, before we move on, what are your thoughts on social media in general? Because I know when I look like at other people doing stuff, it's like, damn, I don't got as many followers. Yeah, I'm like, they got 100 listens, I only get 50 and stuff like that. Like, does that affect you?
To a certain extent, but I'm trying not to get too caught up in it. I thought I heard something. I heard something vibrate. The followers thing, and the whole social media. I mean, social media is a very good tool.
Yeah.
It's also fun, but it's a very good tool as far as just marketing and branding in general.
Right.
And of course, the more people that see it, the more likelihood you have of being successful, at least in 2015 onward, pretty much.
Yeah.
But like, I don't want to get like too caught up in the views. Like, even like with the videos I'm posting, like, okay, sometimes like I'm like, oh yeah, this is funny,
Yeah.
and then like get no likes. I'm just like, dang, I thought it was a good one.
Right, yeah.
Shoot. But sometimes it's like, hey, sometimes it's like, oh, this is trash, but I'm gonna post anyway. I'm like, oh wow, this is really funny.
Right,
like, what? But I mean, I don't know. I don't think you should be caught up in it too much that it reflects on your morale as a person, or like whether people are saying things, whether they're negative or positive, should impact how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be a separation. Like, okay, this is literally a business tool if I'm using it like that, so I'm going to treat it like a business. This isn't my life. Right, exactly.
Right.
Like, what's business is business.
Right.
So, but I also think that you should want to, increase your following.
Of course.
But not to, I'm very pro-organic.
Okay.
There's so many people out there that like have these automated things. Like,
Right, don't pay for that.
Dude.
No.
I did a post, like I was angry.
Yeah.
Like, this person, a couple people actually, like liked like all my stuff, but they kept putting the same comment on it. Yeah. I'm just like, really? Come on, guys, with your automated coming through my posts and liking
people
stuff.
People do that just so that you can show them attention and follow them.
Exactly. And then they unfollow you.
Yeah.
Like, I do not do that. It's so many of them too. Especially like, I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's in like my description or something, but like a lot of entrepreneurs, phony or real, follow me. I'm just like, dude, I would follow you if I knew you really wanted to follow me. Right. But I know in 2 days, like, you're going to unfollow me. Dude. Yes. And it really started picking up once I started doing the podcast posts. Started getting like a lot more random followers.
Right, yeah.
And at first I was like, oh shoot, wow, like I get followers. People, I was like following back, like, oh yeah. And then like I was looking, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. So
my following is going up. but my followers are still like. So then I actually got like one of the apps that like tracks who's following you and stuff. I was just like seeing the trends of like, okay, yeah, these people are just following me so I can follow them. Blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, it's not that deep. Like, I'm really just about like building an organic following of people that actually want to just see your stuff.
I actually rock with you. Yeah.
I'm reading this book. I'm a big Tim Ferriss fan. New York best-selling author, and he does this blog. And one of the blog's posts that he did a while ago, he referred to the rule of like 1,000 fans. I think it was basically saying like the mastering the art of a small business. Like most people, like entrepreneurs, I want to build this big company, blah blah. I have all these people work for me and all these things, but it's like, or just having like this million customers or whatever. But it was like, honestly, you could be just as successful and have the same quality of life if you have like 1,000 people that really just F with you like hard. Like those are like, if you put out a book, they're gonna buy it. If you put out like a mixtape, they're gonna download it. Like those of course you're gonna have the outlying people. Hey, you know, look at your stuff. Oh, this is cool. But just like that core 1,000 that like really just mess with you heavy, you can make it like as far as whatever you're doing, whether it's video content, art, music, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's so like genuine. See, first and foremost, I was talking to my friend Matthew. Shout out Backpack Matt. He was there yesterday. And he was like, this social media stuff is not real. Like, views, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, likes.
The views thing, no.
That doesn't mean anything, right? So, I agree with you in terms of the organic stuff. Like, we need people. Like, people that rock with you. And I think that people will start showing up once you do what you said you were going to do. It's like, go experience new stuff. Go out. Like, you can sit here and make stuff all day, but the real people start to roll in when you go perform somewhere. And when you put a random sticker, you know, Barnes and Nobles on a book, you know, stuff like that. Like, that's the most important stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's not about the number. It's not about the quantity. It's the quality.
Exactly.
Quality, man.
Exactly. And I think what's cool is the 1,000 followers thing. I think that's a good place to start selling stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, once you hit a certain number, then you can like sell a hat.
Exactly.
So $30 hat. 1,000 people buy it.
And like once you get that 1,000, and it's like a certain ratio of how he worked it out. Like it was like basically if it's like, let's say we were doing a podcast together, it would be like 2,000 people, 1,000 each. Therefore, you know, because if the monetization afterwards, you'll have to get split up anyway. So if you both want to be profitable from it, you have to have that certain number. But the 1,000 was the core for like, this is me, blah blah. Once you have that, like you can actually kind of like make a living. Like, yeah, it's really
do that all the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey man, just starting like I have on my host, I use Podbean.
What's that?
It's hosting for podcasts and stuff. So that's where I upload all my stuff before it goes to Apple Podcast and Google Play Music.
I heard that.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Tracks like gives you analytics and stuff.
Oh, dope. Wait, no, I have heard of that.
Yeah.
And I think Apple Podcast has analytics now.
It does have analytics now, but they're not as descriptive. Like I'm like, maybe I'm just not getting enough listens. I don't know. But in the like on the Podbean, you kind of see like, okay, this many Androids listen to it, this many Mac OS devices listen to it.
That's important.
Yeah, you can see like who's listening to stuff, how they're listening to it. Okay, most of the people are mobile, like they're listening to it on their phones.
Right.
Stuff like that.
How can I cater to those people? Right, yeah.
It's really good, but you kind of see like how many downloads you have total, or I think it's downloads. Yeah, or maybe it's just listens. I don't know, but it has a number, and like I was looking at like joke, like because it's my podcast on my account, my podcast is up there with like the big ones.
Right.
But it was like the Joe Rogan podcast, some of that stuff. It was like 642K, whatever.
Yeah.
And then like
It's
you saw like
insane
my
numbers.
69 next to it. But I was like, that's cool. Like I'm just starting. I was like, all right, I'm about to hit 100 within this amount of
Right.
time. Like that's
It's a
my
good goal
goal.
to have.
And then like, okay, after that, I'll just get to 200 and then 500. That's just how I'm going about it. Just like one little step. I'm like, oh man, I want to have like 1,000 downloads. But no, that's how you get defeated quick. That's how you phase out before the Super Bowl.
Exactly. That's how you just get down on your luck.
Exactly.
But with all the Fly Kids show, shout out to Ronald Collins and Backpack Matt. I think right now they're a year in, and we looked at the numbers over the year and just saw the trends and stuff like that. And I think we averaged like 250 listens, something like that.
That's good.
But that's like after a year.
Yeah.
And that's before we thought about what I was saying before we started the show, like tell people where they can find you. Like what I want to do with my
Which
podcast
we didn't
now.
do.
Well, I mean, we'll do that.
We can
Record
edit
that
it.
later.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's the beauty of audio.
Come on, man.
Right, you got that. But that's what I want to focus on next year with my podcast. Shout out to you for inspiring me once again. Like the little details that can help you reach your goal as well. So like content is cool, but like what are the little gems that you can put in that'll tell people what to do? Like call to actions are like really important.
Really important.
That's why when you look at your favorite brand on like Instagram, it's always like, for more information, go here or click this button to learn more, to drive people to your page and stuff like that. So I think little things like that are important, and the small goals, like you said, like by this time next year, I want to average like 100 listens or something like that. Like that's cool because those are reachable goals, and you can take practical steps to get to those goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just also just being like technical, like if you look at, I'm a basketball fan, so I'm looking at Kobe,
Me
like
too. Yeah.
dude, if you like look at this guy's mind, like he is literally like breaking down every defender piece by piece.
Right.
Like he's very analytical in what he does, even though it's an athletic sport.
Right, yeah.
He's very precise in how he does it.
Right.
So I'm like, just the fact of, I think still at this point, not out of it yet. It's just like getting out content, like getting out. And then once I have that amount of content out, I can start, seeing trends. Like, what things are people responding to? Like one thing that I learned really quickly is how the different platforms are used. Like no one wants to watch like a 5-minute video on Twitter. Right. That's not what they're there for. They're here to see short little blog posts. Exactly. Like that's what they came there for. Now, if you put that on Facebook, they'll do a lot better because people watch videos like that on Facebook all the time. Right. If you put up a picture, you'll probably get way more likes or whatever response on Instagram.
Yeah.
Rather than if you put up a picture on Twitter, which is still, Twitter pictures, it's
all
alright,
a little
but
bit, yeah.
Instagram, that's what it's for. So like just catering, I'm saying the same thing, but I'm going to put it in a blog format for this platform. I'm put it in picture format for this. I'm going to make a video for this.
Right.
Because those
it's a lot of work.
Things. It's a lot of work. Nothing is easy. No get rich quick schemes. No, it takes work, man. And honestly, if it didn't, it wouldn't be rewarding anyway. Yeah. So
I don't think so, but it'll happen. And I think consistency is key. And that's something I also want to focus on for next year is just being consistent. Regardless of who's listening, I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I know my stuff is dope. So something's going to happen.
Yeah, and people, even if they keep seeing, I've done it before too, even looking at other people's stuff, you see them on your timeline, they're promoting their stuff again, all right.
Yeah,
and then but after a month or so, you're like, all right, let me just check this thing out. What is he putting back up on here again?
Right, yeah.
And that could be it. Oh wow, this is actually pretty dope.
Right.
Follow, download, whatever it is. So just keep doing it,
just
man.
Keep at it, man.
Just keep at it. The guy I'm reading the book now, it's the 4-Hour Work Week, which I would recommend to anyone. I was trying to see how it was applicable to me with that, even though I'm not necessarily don't have my own business, or I'm not deep into the workforce yet. But basically, it talks about how you stop doing so much work.
Yeah.
Like before that, he had like this business, like Body Quicken or whatever it was called.
Oh,
And
I remember that.
yeah, he was like just burning it on both ends. Like he was just like getting worn out, working like 80 hours a week, like just burning himself. His health and everything was failing, even though he's promoting a health product.
Exactly.
And like he's just like, all right, break down, deconstruct. How can I like make this company just as efficient without
Having to work so hard.
having to work so hard?
Yeah.
And like it's just like eliminating things that aren't important, outsourcing things to other people to do it
Right.
for you at a low cost, like all this different stuff, liberating yourself from people that drain you. It's
Right.
really, really good. I recommend it to anyone. It's applicable. If you really think about it, it's applicable to so many different
Everything,
aspects of
yeah.
life. When I go back this semester, I'm going to be thinking about, okay, how
Cut
can
off the
I
fat.
how can I get the best grade in this class while not spending the most time, because I have other things that I really want to focus on.
Right.
Like, I'm going to talk to my professors to be like, all right, like, am I going to get an FA if I'm not here every day? Like,
Yeah.
you know, stuff like that. So,
You know, put a certain amount of time in every day
right,
after
exactly.
class when you don't have to.
Some professors are understanding. Hey, you know, you don't even have to come. Just email the assignment to me. Boom.
Right, yeah.
That's a commute that I don't have to do.
Exactly.
So, stuff like that. But yeah, man, I forgot what I was originally talking about because I got distracted. But
I think that was just a little segue into your next question.
yeah, we kind of talked about it. I was
Talked about
saying,
it, yeah.
well, we didn't go over the trend thing, which to be honest, like this podcast, if you're following and you're into pop culture, I am aware, but I'm not in it.
Oh wait. So,
So-
you're not in pop culture.
Yeah, like people are like, oh, did you see like what Karuchi said? I'm like, no,
No,
I
you-
don't.
I don't know.
I don't really care either, to be honest. But
Yeah.
like some people are just like super into it. Oh, look what this happened. I don't know if it doesn't have to do with the NFL, the NBA, MLB, NCAA.
I don't know about it.
I don't know about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, but
I guess
as far as trends, I mean, I'm kind of hip.
I couldn't tell you. Like, there's a new trend like on Twitter every
Yeah,
every
so-
week. You know
Honestly, after like the Harlem Shake.
what I'm saying? That's so long
Every
ago.
trend has been like, I don't know what year it appeared and when it died.
That was like years ago though.
it was like
What was that?
2013, maybe 12. I don't
Harlem
know.
Shake. I forgot about that.
Yeah, like honestly, like the ice bucket challenge. Like I don't. Well, what year was that? I have no idea. Dabbing, is that still a thing? I don't know.
Nah, well, man, maybe to the Y people.
They're just now getting it.
I think what's going on Twitter is like there's memes that like run have like a circulation for
Oh,
a little
yeah,
bit. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So like one month of people might be making all these jokes centered around the Arthur Hand or whatever like that. You know what I mean? And stuff like
yeah.
so I think that's in terms of trends, that's what it was.
That
It used to
was
be
a
like
good trend.
challenges, like the
Yeah.
cinnamon challenge, bucket challenge, all these random stupid
Yeah,
things.
what was that, like 25th?
I think that was last year.
That was 2016.
And I think
27? I don't know.
I think there was one challenge that was going on this year. Did you see the fire challenge?
The what?
When people like lit themselves on fire? Did you see that?
I've seen videos of people lighting
Yeah,
themselves
I
on
don't-
fire. I didn't
I-
know it was a challenge.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a challenge that was, but I know that was happening.
See who
so.
can stay on fire the longest.
Yeah, that's
No.
stupid.
Sorry.
So I mean, I guess in terms of trends, I think it's like more memes. than
Memes.
anything.
I think memes hit big. And GIFs, whatever have you.
I call them gifs. What do you say?
I say GIFs.
Okay, good.
I do say
That's how you
GIFs.
say it.
But people get really up in their selves.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's a GIF. Like, you don't pronounce the G. I'm like, dude.
It's a GIF.
It's a GIF, man.
Yeah.
Which one goes off the tongue better? GIF, clearly.
Not no gif. That's funny.
But, okay, memes. I think that, memes are, I love memes. Memes are,
Who doesn't like memes?
you got to. You
Yeah.
got to. They're so freaking funny when they're, like, relevant.
Yeah, of course. I'll be laughing.
Like, I literally laugh out loud.
Even when they're not relevant, like it's funny.
Just like-
In my opinion, it's like when it has nothing to do with anything. Like,
Yeah. Dude. especially like when it's like a real like something like a video or something, and like someone screenshots like that certain frame, and makes it into a meme.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Oh, those are so funny. You cannot slip up.
Those are great.
Yeah, bro.
Well, I mean, how long have you been recording?
I don't know because I don't have it set on time. Can I do it while it's recording?
I don't think so.
I think I
You
can.
can. Lit.
Look at that. Whoa. Oh, 53. Okay.
53. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
How long are your episodes normally like?
I think this actually might be my longest
The longest?
episode. I think my longest one to this point was 47 minutes.
Was that the Oakwood one with the president?
Yes.
That was that one. Oh, cool. I think my podcast I average like between 30 and 40 minutes. Not bad, 'cause I don't really know what to talk about. But I mean, this is pretty cool, man.
Yeah, man. I think going into the future, kind of what I started doing in the beginning was like I was breaking down specific topics I was talking about. Lately, I've been kind of just talking to people,
Just letting it go.
freestyle. Yeah, just letting it go. But I think I'm going to get kind of back more to that format, like specific questions that I have on specific topics, and kind of finding people who I know are learned in that area,
Right,
and just asking them the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So.
guess I have a question before we wrap up. Like, what is? Well, I think you just answered it, kind of. But never mind.
I mean, you can still ask.
I was gonna say because I know for my podcast, I think next year I want to focus on making it a little different than like just interviewing people, and just talking. Like I'm really into, just like you're into the voiceovers. Like I'm into creating like sound landscapes.
Sound landscapes.
Yeah, like a
Term I'm not familiar with.
okay, like you know, Adventures in Odyssey, right?
I love Adventures in Odyssey.
Who doesn't love Adventures?
I
in
have
Odyssey?
like literally every episode.
So it's like that type of thing where like you have like when they're outside talking to each other,
Yeah,
like stuff like that. Like I made something like 4 years ago for like this EP I put out.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a whole story, and it was like I'll play it for you after this.
Yeah,
But, like, right. So like I wanna figure out how to institute that type of audio with podcasts. So not necessarily.
Oh, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
now. Okay.
you know what I'm saying? But like, it's difficult for me because I'm like a visionary, right? And I know I'd have to have like a cast of characters, the people who are dedicated to the show and stuff like that. But I want to know if I can like scale that down a little bit and still like be able to control everything.
So, do you want to go? Because there are podcasts like this too that tell stories. Do you kind of want to go towards
that's the
that,
thing.
or do you want to just be really
I want to write stories.
audio visual with your content?
I know what you're saying.
Okay.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. I just want to want people to have like an experience.
An experience.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I kind of was tapping on that because I kind of had the same thought. Like, I want people to like hear, like, because you can't see a podcast, but I
Exactly.
also want them to be able to like
To visualize
it very
see it.
well. So like, I was doing little things like little sound effects here and there in different episodes. I haven't done it recently because I didn't really see an opportunity. I didn't want to force it.
exactly.
But yeah, just like little things that just add to the experience. That's a great idea. You should
So I mean,
and also, if you have those sounds, like you could package that and sell it. Like,
yeah, I mean, I take everything from Logic because I wasn't using X when I started doing audio stuff. It was like Pro 9. They have a lot of stuff that's already built in. I don't know what X has because I'm not on it as much because I still use 9 for every recording I do. But I think if they have stuff like on X, then you can get into that.
yeah, they have a pretty good, and
Like
they
a loop
update
library?
too. They update their loop library with different sounds, experimental.
Oh, they do?
And, yeah, they do.
I didn't know that.
It's like, yeah, unpackage these new sounds. Do I ever do it? Not really, but I should. But also, I don't want to keep taking up more space. So,
I think
yeah. And I
What
just
is-
recently got this because
2 terabytes.
one,
One. Okay.
because just these audio files I was starting to have were just taking up too much
Yeah,
space
that's a
on my
lot.
computer. So yeah, I started putting them all on here.
Smart.
Yeah. So
Well, big things popping for the Muse Report next
yeah,
year.
man.
Yeah.
And I keep IDKWID. Are you gonna stick with that like
The
theme?
plan? Yeah. Yeah.
what if you do figure out what you're doing? Plot
I'm
twist.
still gonna keep it. 'Cause I feel like no one ever really knows what.
That's very true.
You know what I mean?
All
Like you
discovering
think you got it
things.
under control, but anything can happen at any time. You're always gonna have questions about something and stuff like that. And I think I want to have that brand on multiple platforms. So like I had the vlog or whatever. I want to bring that back, but I also want to start like a TV show, like complex-ish, where it's like different angles, people talking to each other. Like when they have a news report, it goes to like a picture and it has the weird stuff in the background.
That's
you know what I mean?
funny.
Like stuff like that. Like that's the wave that I'm trying to be on, and just like attack from all these different angles so that people can just hop onto the brand.
If you're not hip to Ryan, you need to follow him.
Please.
Like,
I will
he has
tell you
some good
where.
stuff.
So you can follow my personal page, pages on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Only Ryan. For the podcast though, follow us on social media at IDKWID podcast on Instagram and Twitter. And for SoundCloud, it's IDKWID the podcast because I couldn't get just podcast. So, yeah.
Cool, man. Definitely, I want to get everybody hip to your stuff because I've seen some of the stuff that you're doing. I'm like, yeah, this guy's he's gonna be doing it.
This is good.
So
Good to know.
I think that's it for this episode.
All right, great. Now you got to record the intro and outro.
The intro and outro, man.
That's it.
All right, that's a wrap.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Muse Report. If you made it this far to the end, you are the realist because this episode was a little on the long side, but it was a really good one and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Ryan, for being on the podcast. He made the last episode of the year a great one. Make sure you follow his podcast, the IDKWID podcast. Also, if you love the podcast, the Muse Report, please subscribe so you can get updates on all the new episodes coming out. And also leave a rating or review. Let me know what you think. What can I improve on? Because I am a student of the game and I am here to learn. Also, if you enjoyed the podcast, remember to share it with somebody, your friend, your enemy, your aunt, your uncle, your nephew. It doesn't matter. You can find the podcast on podbean.com, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play Music, all under the phrase title, The Muse Report. So, going into 2018 strong, always remember to keep turning your muse into a reality. Bye.
Hey guys, Clee here. Thanks so much for listening to the Build Your Vision podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I would think you did if you stayed all the way to the end. The best thing that you could do to help support this show is by sharing it with somebody. By you just taking a few seconds to recommend this show to somebody, you are making a huge impact, not only on the success of this show, but possibly on that person's life.